Good evening, everybody, and good to see you. We're going to start out with some more music of protest. That's been some of the music that's been sung in the streets. Um, if we can get out of a screen share mode here. I don't think we should be sharing anyone's screen. But I'll just tell you a little bit about the song. Okay. So the song's called Rise Up, and it's based on a song by Chance the Rapper called Blessings, and it's been adapted by various groups, Black Lives Matters, and just a lot of groups organizing for justice. And I'm going to sing a little bit and invite you to sing it back, and then once we get it, we can all sing it together. It goes like this. We're going to rise up till it's won. Let's try that. We're going to rise up till it's won. And again. We're going to rise up till it's won. And again. We're going to rise up till the next part. When the people rise up, the powers come down. Try that. When the people rise up, the powers come down. And then a little different. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. So we'll try those two lines together. When the people rise up. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. Let's sing that. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. And again, they try to stop us, but we keep coming back. One more time. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise up till it's won. And again, we're gonna rise up. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. We're gonna rise. We're gonna rise up till it's won. We're gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. One more. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. Amen.
When the people rise up, the powers come down. Thank you, Mark, David, and Julie. So we're going to keep on singing, as is our wont at Sanctuary. We're going to sing a song called For What It's Worth. Wanted to just own that I hate that we're singing this song. And by that, I mean, this song is over 50 years old, and it feels like it could have been written yesterday. It's the way that it's aged infuriates me. The images that it brings up are images that we've seen this last week and seen for so many decades and generations. It's infuriating that we're still in this fight. And it's also good to know that we're not the first in this fight, and we won't be the last, and we're going to keep on fighting. When the people rise up, the powers come down.
I invite you to sing along and really soak in the lyrics, whether you've heard this a million times or you're hearing it for the first time tonight. There's something happening here. it is ain't exactly clear. Well, there's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. Think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going on.
There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Think it's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and a carrying signs. Mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Now, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Thank you so much, Joe and Lucas. It's our tradition to light a chalice at the beginning of our worship gatherings as a way of taking a moment to be centered, to ground ourselves, to be present together. So if you have a chalice or a candle, I invite you to grab it and light one at home. If not, just take a deep breath. And the words for our chalice lighting this evening are the song Courage, My Friend by Eric Bogle, a Scottish singer-songwriter living in Australia. It was written when he was inspired by stories of the role that music played in the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa. Courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. Courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. Well, welcome again to Sanctuary Boston, a community striving for vibrant worship and real connection, even when we're far apart, even when times are difficult, especially when times perhaps are difficult and when things around us are changing quickly. My name is Matt Meyer, and I'm the Director of Community Life. It's good to be with you. A few logistics for our worship gathering this evening. We are recording, so if you'd rather not have your face online, you can always turn off the camera. Although if you're comfortable with it, we invite you to keep the camera on and also to use gallery view so we can see all of your fabulous, beautiful faces. We invite you to sing along at home. You all will be muted, of course, but this is a great time to try out some extra harmonies and to sing out loud. At every worship, we always invite folks to participate in whatever way helps the Spirit move for you. And that's just as true here when we're each in our homes. Feel free to get up and dance a bit, sing along, get some food, make yourself comfortable. Special welcome to all of those of you who are joining us from afar, those of you who are joining us for maybe the first or second time. Some folks here have been coming for 7 or 8 years now. Some folks, this is your first worship gathering with us. I would venture to say most of us don't know most of the people joining us for this gathering tonight, though. So if you're new, a special invitation, special welcome to you. And after the service, we will have 15 minutes of social time in breakout groups for folks to make some connections, to check in with each other, and to reflect a bit on the service. So stick around if you're interested in that. Now I'd like to invite Rose, Pam, and Jenny to share our words of welcome. There are 3 board members who are stepping off of the board at the end of June and have each been on the board for years now and put in countless hours, so much thoughtfulness to making this community the beautiful place that it is, to helping us grow together to be who we want to be together. So Rose and Pam and Jenny, thank you for all of your leadership. Thank you for your continued ongoing leadership in the future in other ways and in other versions. And I'll invite you all at home to read aloud the words of welcome with them.
Whether you go to church on Sunday morning
or light candles on Friday night,
whether you've been hurt by religion,
saved by it,
or some of both,
whether you're brand new to spiritual community,
or a seasoned seeker,
whoever you are, whatever you are,
wherever you are on your journey, we
welcome
you.
Hi again, everybody. I wanted to share a few words about our next song, Neighbor. I remember first time I heard the words to our next song. In 2016, I was honored to perform it with Reverend Sekou and the Holy Ghost at our UU General Assembly in Columbus, Ohio. And I remember honestly feeling pretty uncomfortable hearing the lyrics out loud. Can we say that? I thought, in church. You see, the song was written in the wake of the killing of Eric Gardner, a black man choked to death by a police officer. His last words, repeated over and over, were, "I can't breathe." That happened in 2014. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we've progressed much since then, does it? So I invite you into that discomfort because it should be uncomfortable. For some of us, it's a reminder of what is happening far away and sometimes out of sight. And for some of us, it's a reminder that suffering is closer than we realize. And we as a community are called to witness what is happening to our neighbors, to call out violence and systematic racism, and to not stop until there is justice and liberty for all. So Here's the song. I can hear my neighbor crying, saying I can't breathe. And now I'm in the struggle, and I can't leave. We're calling out the violence of the racist police, and we ain't gonna stop until the people are free. You can sing it with me if you want. I can hear my neighbor crying, saying I can't breathe. And now I'm in the struggle, and I can't leave. We're calling out the violence of the racist police, and we ain't gonna stop until the people are free. I can hear my neighbor crying, saying I can't breathe. And now I'm in the struggle, and I can't leave. We're calling out the violence of the racist police, and we ain't gonna stop until the people are free. We ain't gonna stop, we ain't gonna stop, we ain't gonna stop, we ain't gonna stop until the people are free. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop until the people are free. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop until the people are free.
Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to share a message with you all. My name is Reverend Adam Lawrence Dyer, lead minister at First Parish in Cambridge. And I want to begin by just thanking the Spirit of Life, God as Holy One, for our time together, for this opportunity to share, to hear my words, and may they land on open hearts, open minds, and an open world that is full of joy and hope and promise. So I wanted to begin by just saying that I am aware that every day today feels like a test to so many people. The coronavirus is not so much an awakening or something unique and unusual as it has been an amplification of so much of what feels deeply troubling in our world. Now, remember when we were horrified by the information that Edward Snowden made us aware of in 2013, that technology was basically a massive spying tool for the government? And don't forget that our last presidential election was completely turned inside out by technology. And here we are, today, many of us able to communicate only through devices and systems that just yesterday were suspect and, well, I would imagine evil to many of us. There are many who are left out by the current state of things, not just because of lack of access, but because this tech doesn't work for them cognitively or physically. It's as if technology heard us and said, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson and make you even more dependent on me. This is what I mean by the coronavirus has heightened the version of where we were before. We all knew that healthcare was inadequate. We all knew that hourly workers were vulnerable. We all knew that Wall Street would continue to protect its own. We all knew that the president had no capacity to lead. And we all knew that this country was irredeemably racist. Now, some of you will disagree or think that I'm being harsh or dramatic by saying that the US racism is irredeemable. But I want you to consider how deep the sickness of racism goes. It is not just in police brutality. Those are racist acts. It is not just healthcare that leaves more Black and brown people dying right now than anyone else. That is a racist system. What I'm talking about is racism as the air we breathe, the water we drink, the language we speak, and sometimes even, yes, the God we worship. I say that the racism we are surrounded by is irredeemable because the United States is racism. This project is based on a racially derived premise of free labor, creating marked up goods accessible as property and safety to a limited few based on race, on land taken from its original inhabitants against their will and because of their race. The idea was and still is that if you have access and or proximity to European-based whiteness, you can succeed. I want to give you a taste of how I get to experience some of this racialized world so that you might understand what I mean by irredeemable and why I'm sharing this message with you now. I am a Unitarian Universalist minister. This is a title that comes with astounding privilege. I'm well compensated, I'm listened to, and I'm taken seriously. But being a UU minister requires that I am always occupying white space on multiple levels, regardless of my racial identity and often despite and in conflict with being Black. For example, having the privilege to frame faith as something universally accessible through a largely intellectual exercise is an assumption of privilege that most people don't have on this planet. Specifically, people of color who have been targets and tools for Christian colonialism. Faith for most people is literally life and death, and there are people dying for their faith while we lecture and light candles. Even someone like me comes from a faith originally that exists only as a suit of armor, as a response from multiple violences of slavery. I am constantly in white spaces. My ministry is welcomed in white space because I was successful in navigating the white space of seminary, according to criteria established by a white organization. And so, as the country convulses around us with race work, I am asking myself, how do I get past this? As a Black person, what does it look like to have been forced to always occupy white spaces and to have white space occupying me and then say, I forgive you, when racism driven by whiteness asks for reconciliation? How do I put down the historical, cultural, and ongoing trauma in my own life that results from having to step out of my body and into something that denies me every single day? How do I even begin to trust whiteness? This is the challenge of modern faith. Whiteness in the glare of racism is facing a reckoning as part of an overall reckoning for this country. And because whiteness is not restricted to people with white skin, but diffused and aspirated around our world in attitudes, priorities, and policies, because whiteness is both inhaled and enforced in me, how do I reconcile that? How do I cure that virus? I share this probably difficult message because the internal conflict that I have in this moment doesn't want to see a Black protester carry a white counter-protester out of harm's way. I'm tired of saving whiteness. I'm tired of doing the work for whiteness. I share this message because if you are white, I'm demanding that my internal conflict and awarenesses be mirrored and equaled by your internal conflict and awareness. If you are white, you must also face yourself. Until we are both engaged in the business of truly untangling the evil of racism, this path will not change. This fury will die down, the march will be forgotten, the chants will fall silent again. Too often, we talk about doing the work around racism. I want to ask each of you listening to me tonight to stop using this expression. As long as we call it the work, it sits outside of our bodies and our lived experiences. It is not work. There is no payment, no bonus, no reward. It is life. Straight up. If you are truly committed to seeing change, if you really believe that this race project called the United States is redeemable, and if you are white, then you must put your skin in the game because you cannot escape. That is, it is the story told by your skin that started this tragedy and that still keeps it alive. And I can't tell you how to do that. I will not carry the burden of whiteness to safety. That's your job. May it be so.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being with us and for sharing so openly with us. We're going to sing a song now called If You're Out There by John Legend, and it calls us to speak out and to, one of the phrases that he uses is, I'm dying to believe that you're out there, which I think really just shows the magnitude of the situation. So this is If You're Out There. If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling everybody all across the land. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late. We've been looking for a song to sing, search for a melody, search for someone to lead. We've been looking for the world to change. If you feel the same, well, go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Stand up and say it loud if you're out there. Tomorrow's starting now. No more broken promises, no more call to war, unless it's love and peace that we're really fighting for. We can destroy hunger, we can conquer hate. Put down the arms and raise your voice, we're joining hands today. I was looking for a song to sing, search for a leader, but the leader was me. We were looking for the world to change. We can be heroes, just go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Stand up and say it loud if you're out there. Tomorrow's starting now. If you're ready, we can save the world. Believe again. message wherever you stand. I'm calling everybody all across the land. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Reverend Adam. This is a watershed moment in which we're facing multiple crises at once in ways that are both new and familiar. I want to thank our former director of community life, Reverend Michael Slack, for bringing our attention to the Okra Project. It's an organization that supports Black trans folks who are experiencing trauma upon trauma. And tonight, Sanctuary Boston is glad to collect an offering to be shared with the Okra Project. Here's how they describe their work. The Okra Project is a collective that seeks to address the global crisis faced by Black trans people by bringing home-cooked, healthy, and culturally specific meals and resources to Black trans people. In the wake of the recent murders of Nina Pop, Tony McDade, and so many more Black trans people, the Okra Project recognizes that Black trans people are feeling the weight of our siblings being murdered while their murderers, whether it be the assailants or the police force that puts very little efforts into finding their killers, walk free. To honor Nina Pop, Tony McDade, and the many Black trans people who have been murdered by state-sanctioned violence, the Okra Project is dedicating $15,000 to create the Nina Pop Mental Health Recovery Fund and the Tony McDade Mental Health Recovery Fund. They're trying to raise another $15,000 to match it, and we at the Sanctuary Boston would like to contribute. We'll be pasting a link into the chat in a moment for you to learn more about the life-saving work of the Okra Project. And we invite you to give generously as you're able to support our Black trans siblings and family. You can give by Venmo, on the Sanctuary website, by joining our Patreon, or by sending an old-fashioned check. Thank you for your generosity in supporting Sanctuary and for your commitment to supporting the work of liberation and protection for all. Thanks.
Courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. Courage, courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. Courage, courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. Courage, courage, my friend, you do not go alone. We will go with you and sing your spirit home. We will go with you and sing your spirit
is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Enter in the community where we share our joys, where we share our sorrows. We recognize that we arrive here to be together, bringing our full stories, our complicated stories. We don't have to leave anything at the door. And so we invite you now to share your joys and sorrows, recognizing that sorrows shared are lessened and joys shared are magnified. We'll begin by inviting you to share your sorrows in the chat, and then we'll come back together in a moment to share joys as well. I invite you now to share any sorrows that you're carrying with you this evening in the chat.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
This is also a community of joy, even in the most difficult times. We gather together and celebrate the joys, small and large, that are with us. If you've arrived this evening carrying a joy in your heart, we invite you to share it now in the chat.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Beloveds, I invite you to take a deep breath, to center down, and to join me in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, be with us as we are with each other this evening, bringing our whole selves, bringing our complicated selves. We gather together in a time of crisis, in a time of loss, in a time of too much violence and too much uncertainty, in a time of too much racism. Be with us as we are with each other. Amid all these crises, we struggle, we grieve for health scares, for too many friends and family in the hospital, with complicated family relationships, and of course, a racist system that is in the air we breathe, is all around us and also within us. Spirit, be with us also in the resilience, in the struggles against racism. Be with us as we're with each other, trying to stay in the conversation, stay in the work, stay in our lives, which are interdependent, which are tied up together. Staying together even when it is difficult, even when it makes us sick to our stomach, even when it feels like too much. Let us remember that we can do together what we cannot do alone. Together, we can grieve more deeply. Together, we can possibly find a way forward. Together, we can celebrate the joys also, the small gratitudes, the big celebrations. Spirit, be with us as we celebrate those in our community going through major life transitions, even in the midst of crisis. Be with us as we celebrate the ways we are finding to play together, to connect together, to laugh together, even from such a distance. Be with us as we are with each other in finding ways to dismantle white supremacy and systemic racism in our workplaces, in our homes, in our faith communities, and in the air all around us. Spirit, be with us as we are with each other in all of this, in the grieving, in the resilience, and in the joy. May it be so, and amen.
Make us so where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us so where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew.
Thank you, Lucas and Reverend Joanna, and thank you all for letting me share some words with you tonight and the charge I'd like to leave you with. If you are white, take responsibility for your whiteness, how you wear it, how you live it, how you excuse it and ignore it, and how it works in your world. Don't assume you've figured out racism. The most tricky quality of whiteness is its invisibility while it puts a spotlight on everyone else. Take it from someone who has had to intentionally, if reluctantly, wear pieces of whiteness every single day just to do his job. If you are a person of color, stop taking responsibility for whiteness. It is not yours, and it is only designed to hurt you. Your challenge will be to figure out how to live in a post-white world without creating the same shortcomings in its place. For too many of us, people of color, this is the only blueprint we know, and we must start anew. And for all of us, ultimately, we all need to remember that racism is a group project, not an individual task. This is the challenge. Go in peace, and amen.
Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I was walking and talking with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, I was singing and praying with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Singing and praying with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Singing and praying with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We're gonna rise up till it's won. We're gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the power comes down. When the people rise up, the power comes down. They try to stop us, but we ain't coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. We're gonna rise, we're gonna rise up till it's won. We're gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. We're gonna rise up till it's won. We're gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. One more time. We're gonna rise up till it's won. We're gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. One more. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back.
Thank you so much, Mark, David, and Julie. What a gift of your music. Thank you to all the other musicians, and thank you especially to Reverend Adam. What a gift to share your message and particularly your charge for us. Thank you. Our final ritual of the evening is just a few announcements. Since COVID, we've created a community care team here at Sanctuary, and so we're going to be sharing the form for the community care form in the chat box. That's a place where if you could use support in some way, if you could use prayers from our community, if even if just some homemade art in the mail or a homemade song on your voicemail would brighten your day a little bit, please fill out that form and let us know. It's a place for asks and offers, and also a great way to let us know if some money from the Mutual Aid Fund would be helpful to you in these times of crisis. We're also going to be sharing just some ways to stay in touch with us. We're going to be worshiping on first and third Wednesdays all through the summer, all through the year. We're kind of kicking off being a year-round worship community starting in July. And so July 1st will be our next worship, and then July 15th after that. So please join us for that. Mark those dates in your calendar and follow us on Facebook or sign up for our email newsletter to stay in touch. We're looking to grow this community and deepen this community, especially in all kinds of ways. And so we invite you to stay connected. And one really exciting thing that's going to be happening starting in July is an OWL program, which is sex ed for young adults. So I'm going to invite Carrie, if you're with us, you can unmute yourself and let us know about what you're planning.
Yeah, so my name is Carrie, and I've been working with, as Matt referenced, the OWL program, which is Our Whole Lives. It's really centered around healthy relationships and sex ed. So all the questions that maybe developed between when you had your last sex ed and now, or your last relationship, thinking about, what are maybe healthier ways for you to be a better partner, or kind of recovering from maybe some of the ways that that last relationship wasn't so healthy, or just, kind of wanting to reflect on things. And so it covers all aspects of sex ed, consent, pleasure, some basic anatomy, to really more in-depth conversations about what it means to be a supportive partner in a relationship. So I'm really excited to be doing that. I have a co-host, co-facilitator as well. Her name is Jo Murphy, and she'll be working with me as well to put this program together. And as Matt said, we're going to kick it off in July. If you're interested, you can email me, or we also created an email address to get more information and sign up, and that's my.owl.qa@gmail.com, and either Matt can type it or I can type it in a little bit, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all.
Yeah, definitely put that email address in the chat box. We'll also be sharing information about it in our emails and on Facebook. The OWL sex ed program is sex ed as it should be, as I think it was meant to be. If your sex ed in junior high was as awful as mine was, then we encourage you to check it out. And it's for 18 to 35-year-olds, for young adults, I believe. Yes. So thank you for sharing that with us. And we're also talking about doing other small groups this summer, and I'm particularly interested in an anti-racism for white folks small group. So if that is of interest to you, please get in touch with me through the website or through our Facebook page. We're looking for all kinds of ways to deepen the journey we're on together. In a couple of minutes, we're going to invite you all into the breakout rooms for some social time, for some check-in time. So Mark David's going to play a bit of music, and for those of you that want to join us, just stick around. If not, go in peace, go and be blessed as you are a blessing to others. And in the breakout rooms, we're going to invite you to reflect on a question from Reverend Adam. What is your skin in the game of racism? So Mark David, would you give us some transition music?